Being a CEO is exciting, but doing it all yourself? That's a fast track to burnout. The most successful leaders know the key to growth is smarter delegation. That's exactly what we covered in How CEOs Get Things Done. Success stories of delegating smarter, stressing less, and finding balance. Jana Franklin, CEO of CEO Concierge, shared how outsourcing the right task can transform both your business and personal life. Missed the live session? No worries, we're breaking down the biggest insights so you can start working smarter today. Stay tuned.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining today's webinar, How CEOs, Entrepreneurs, Small Business People Get Things Done. Success stories of delegating smarter, stressing less, and finding balance. Yes, it does exist. So I'm Jana Franklin. I am the CEO of CEO Concierge, and I'm excited to be here with you today. We'll have a little bit of time at the end to ask any questions. I'm here to help unstress you out, if that's such a word. So at CEO Concierge, we are a virtual assistant agency. I started this agency because I own several other companies as an entrepreneur and as a mother of teenage boys. I was running ragged, trying to be the great boss and trying to be the great mother and be everything to everyone, and feeling very overwhelmed, very reactive, not doing what I do best. And so brought virtual assistants in slowly but surely about 5 years ago to stop having me run myself ragged. And so it helped with the connection and getting talented virtual assistants. That's what it's all about. So if you're feeling overwhelmed with these little things you need to do, we're here to show you how delegating tasks and can help you focus on what really matters. So how do we get more things done in less time? Virtual assistants. How can they help us with our task so we don't have to do it all? And then you're going to hear some real stories, a real story from Jody Lee, CEO phenomenon, Queen Bee. So she'll be joining us with how she has utilized her virtual assistants too. So the secret to delegating, why hiring a virtual assistant is a game changer. Why and how can you delegate? Keys to success. So delegating gives you the freedom to focus on your big picture goals, whether it's personal or professional, allows you to spend the time on what you do best, where you're needed, where you get energy, and let the virtual assistants do what they do best and do it with what gives them energy. They can handle repeated, time-consuming tasks. This allows you to have the productivity. So what are you guys spending a lot of time on? Probably checking your emails or not checking your emails, calendar management, scheduling, meetings. Hey, do you got a minute? Handling admin tasks, whether it is trying to call someone back to make sure that order's in place, project management, everything that is not really helping your business grow, but has to happen because that is how the business stays in sync. So you're probably stressed, you're probably overwhelmed, you're working a lot of hours and you're trying to get everything done. But delegating tasks to a virtual assistant will give you back your time so you can focus on it. So where do you need to do this? You can get a virtual assistant, an executive assistant to handle emails. They can respond as you or not. It's up to you. We do something called Project Inbox Zero that we train everyone on, including the clients. So your inbox is at zero. We do calendar management, making sure that you are not double booking yourself. I don't know how many times I've done that. And also helping you get out the door, maybe if you've got a meeting and you're not the best at that. So, hey, they could be sending you a message at 1:20 for a 2:00 meeting saying, hey, Jana, you need to get out the door to make it to your meeting on time. They are handling customer support. I own restaurants. One of my virtual assistants handles all my customer service issues, my vaccination records, my HR, my onboarding. They can handle all that monotonous work, and that needs a lot of detail and follow through. That's items that I don't have to worry about anymore. So I can be in the training mode that I like to be in for my stores. They can be helping you with travel if you have a lot of travel, lead generation. Big one is social media. So you can have an executive assistant that is strong in executive assistant and admin tasks, but also is handling social media for you, whether it's your personal branding or your company. So they're doing content creation, and they're doing the postings, and they're doing the ads, and they're doing the analysis, and they're responding in LinkedIn, Facebook, Meta, whatever it is, as you or however you want it, to make sure that you are having that beginning to end follow through. These are some of the things that are very easy to delegate. The importance of a VA, and Jody's going to join us here in a minute talking about her success story, is cultural and fit. Personality fit is very big. So Jody, I want to welcome you to the webinar. I appreciate you coming on. Can you talk to the group here about what it was like before a VA and then after a VA? I know you've had nannies. I know you have personal assistants. So I would love for you to share what you are doing with your VAs, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. Can everybody see me? I'm having oh, here we go. Okay. So I guess I'll just start by saying thank you, Jana, for having me here, and I'm happy to share my VA experience. I've had a VA. The first time I hired a VA was probably 18 years ago. And
Wow.
over the last 18 years, I started out with a part-time VA. And over the years, I've had VAs from different regions around the world. I've had them, and sometimes they're small project based, and sometimes, and now obviously I have a full-time who works to support me, and only me all the time. And kind of my journey has been, VA for small projects, VA for bigger projects, part-time VA, and then finally full-time. And at one point, I had, and as entrepreneurs, we sometimes our needs grow, and sometimes our needs shrink. And I, kind of actually a few years ago. It really hasn't been that long when I had two nannies, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, two VAs, one full-time, one part-time, one assistant, boots on the ground in person, and I really for the VA. I feel like the VA actually offers me flexibility to scale up or shrink down. So that's been very it has really contributed to my success as an entrepreneur, as a wife, a mom. Really, I think I'm one of these people, and I imagine this is true for everyone here on this phone call. We want it all. We want to be successful in every way, and I feel like the VA has contributed significantly to my ability to do a good job everywhere. So I've had them in India. I've had them in the Philippines. I've had them from Egypt even, and so for me, I can tell you a little bit more about how I feel my I feel like my ability to scale up and to really go to the next level um, happened with CEO Concierge. CEO Concierge essentially trained me to be a badass delegator, badass virtual boss. And so that's actually, um, in my opinion, that's probably more important than than uh, I mean, obviously, you want to have a VA who is a good fit for you, has the skills that you need. Um, but in my opinion, the success actually depends um, on the boss.
Yeah.
And I appreciate CEO Concierge for that.
Thank you. Um, what about control? Like having control, because a lot of entrepreneurs, want to be we're control freaks, right? If
Yeah, yeah.
we don't cross our eyes, or like projects and how you actually are they your mind reader? Like how does that set? How did you build the trust and the control and relinquish control? And then how are projects and the autonomy handled?
So I can tell you that that relinquishing control is probably an entrepreneur's Achilles heel.
Yeah.
We need to relinquish control in order to scale. And sometimes we're just in our own way. Um, so but I can tell you that it didn't happen overnight for me. It took me a while. Um, and I think when you will know, everybody's different, and I feel like you will know when that happens. So for me, but you construct guardrails as much as you need and um, to to the best of your abilities, right? So for example, I know a lot of people use LastPass. They use Bidwarden. They use gosh, there's another one that's really popular. But I use Bidwarden, and I know LastPass has like very similar structure
Right.
where I'm the account owner and I have additional uh, keys that I can give to my family or my admin. So I give one key to my VA, and in this case, my VA has been working with me for several years. And yeah, I've actually met her in person. She lives in the Philippines.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, I was on my way to and from Singapore, and so I met her and her boyfriend, and actually they're married now.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was kind of sorry that I didn't go to their wedding, but so, so the key, I gave a key to her. Now, with that key, as the owner of the Bidwarden account, I get to decide which accounts are accessible with her key. So, for example, if I decide that, hey, um, I have one particular credit card that is a business credit card, and I want her to have it. And in fact, she does. I want her to pay my bills using that credit card. She has the number. I give her the number, and I give her a key so she can log in to access the statements so that she can, reconcile them for me, send them, communicate with my bookkeeper about those things. Now, um, I chose because I've got partners, I chose to have my bookkeeper here in Houston. But the honest truth is, if I wanted my VA to be my bookkeeper and do my QuickBooks accounting, she can. She can do everything that my bookkeeper can do. But I've got partners, so I want to
Yeah.
make sure that, yeah.
Yeah. What about one more question for you? Because I think you and I kind of sit in the same boat on this one. Is like you're a list. You like to do a list, and you have probably more on your list than you can potentially get done, or that you don't start.
Mhm.
So how does that work with your VA? Does your VA just automatically start something that you're not doing and then at least makes progress on it?
So you might imagine, so I have a personal email box. I'm the chairwoman of Southwestern National Bank, so I've got a bank email box. I also have two real estate companies that I run with one that I run with my brothers, and the other I run with partners and investors. So I've got all these email boxes that I'm looking after, and my VA looks at all the inboxes, and uh, and we've worked together long enough that she knows, okay, these are junk mail, and I don't even see them. I don't see junk mail at all, at
That's
all.
awesome.
Like
Yeah.
like my eyeballs don't even see them. But if it's informational and I need them from time to time, it's saved in a different box. So we actually go through that system, and I think there's a good book that is good for it, and I think it's called Buy Back Your Time.
Yes. Yes, you are correct.
There's a good system. So my system is a little bit different from that, but the idea is the same.
Right.
You modify the system to fit your needs. But that's a good place to start. And so, and sometimes I'm in meetings all day. And when you're in meetings, you can't be looking at your phone. And so what happens is I end up in a situation where the only the only messages that I'm looking at for the entire day are messages from her, because then she is my really my right hand,
Yeah.
telling me, you've got this email from the bank. It is important. You need to answer it. Do you want to say yes or no? Or, and she'll actually say, she'll actually like send me a screenshot or something. Do you want me to respond?
Yeah.
And if it's something really urgent, she'll actually text me, this is urgent. You need to come out of the meeting and make a phone call or take a call.
Yeah.
But really, that's if it's from anybody else, I'm not taking the call. But if it's from her, it's like, okay, I need at least
Yeah. That's awesome.
yeah. And so some people, I do know that some people use Trello, and
Mhm.
because they have like the lists.
Mhm.
We do not.
Okay.
We do share a Trello app, but for whatever reason, it doesn't work all that well for me.
Mhm.
And but we do WhatsApp, and for me, it was so easy. I'll just, even if it's at night. So she
Mhm.
works my day hours.
Okay.
So she supports me during my day hours. But, we're entrepreneurs. We work
Right.
24/7, right?
Right. Right.
So at night, sometimes I'm in front of my computer, and of course she's sleeping. That she's, I mean, they
Right.
gotta sleep, right?
Right. Right.
Although sometimes she doesn't, sometimes I think she's not sleeping, but and I would go through my mailbox, and I would say, please draft to CEO Concierge, may I make an appointment, and please um, reach out to Rupesh and schedule lunch for end of March, and please uh, you know,
Right.
reach out to Rika. And if I know Rika has an assistant, then I don't even talk to Rika. I just say, on my WhatsApp, send a voicemail and say, please reach out to Rika's virtual assistant and schedule a lunch for April
Yeah.
or a Zoom meeting, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's for me, it's I mean, I can't live without her. I
That's
do
awesome.
have I can tell you, I have a property manager who's kind of like my boots on the ground. She's
Hmm.
available to me. Like if I need some paperwork to be delivered to the title company or something, it needs to be done now. I have that person. But I can live without my property manager. I can't live without my VA.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. Jody, I thank you for joining us. I don't want to take up any more of your time, Miss Chairwoman of the bank and real estate mogul. Guys, thank you. Jody Lee, Houston. Mwah.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. So, what does a CEO? So, being a CEO, right? She just talked about working all the time, right? So, being a CEO doesn't mean you have to work all the time. I think Jody likes to work all the time. However, um, you don't have to work 24/7. When I brought in virtual assistants, it really allowed for me to delegate the tasks that were just bogging me down and for me to be able to go and spend it where I get energy from, where I am loving it and growing and supporting my business. This is what a virtual assistant can do for you. If you're looking at an agency, you're doing it yourself. The biggest important thing, and Jody alluded to it too, is fit, the personality fit, right? Most entrepreneurs, business owners have a higher level of autonomy than the average working person. And so for me, who has a high level of autonomy, I really need someone that has a higher autonomy, not low, right? Because I need them to be able to think for themselves and keep up with me. The sense of urgency. Most of us don't have patience. We want it done yesterday, in the level of detail, right? So when you're looking at potentially bringing in a virtual assistant, take into account those items: the fit, the culture, where you sit personality wise, what is a good complement to you or your team. Because if they're reporting to you and some of your team members, then they need to be able to get along with them as well. But this is going to set it up, and then set up boundaries. um don't contact me here, contact me here. How do you want to communicate? WhatsApp is the easiest. Jody alluded to WhatsApp. We do use Trello. It is not managed by me, it's managed by my VA. So what happens is I might put something in a WhatsApp and they'll add it to the Trello board. But you got to take breaks, because your mental health is just as important as everyone else's mental health. You can step away. Spring break is around the corner right now, right? I'm leaving town for a week. The wheels will not fall off the bus. If something's going on, just like Jody, they'll text me and I can deal with it and move on. But knowing that the administrative task and the social media or the bookkeeping and all of that is staying intact and supporting the other team members, whether it's a project from beginning to end or whatever, that is allowing you to be in your business and enjoy your time. This will allow you to run things smoothly. So, what tools can a VA do? So the nice thing when you go with an agency is that they can do and go and talk to other VAs that may be doing a project on a task that is comparable to something you have given your VA, and figure out I call it rip off and duplicate, and figure out an easier way to do it or an automated way to do it. Very self-driven on automating tasks and making sure you have standard operating procedures and so forth. These are things that the virtual assistant can institute relatively quickly and really alleviate some of those pain points that you're having if you don't have standard operating procedures. You have to be clear with your virtual assistant on what your needs are, but at the same time, the virtual assistant needs to be asking clarifying questions. So when you are doing your meeting cadence with your virtual assistant, whether it's once a week, whether it's every day, which I do not suggest, whether it's a couple times a month, be very clear and make sure you're giving them the attention, because then they can go and do their job and not have to keep asking you maybe the same question. So clear is very important. It's okay to step away, right? It's okay to say, you know what, I need to take a break. Can you handle things? Where can VAs help you, right? VAs can help you with administrative tasks are a big thing. Anything repetitive, anything that bogs your team down. They can help you with calendar, email management, travel, appointments, so forth. They can help you with making sure, like, if you want to go with an executive assistant that has a strong suit in social media, that can do the content creation from the beginning to the end, posting it on Meta, posting it on LinkedIn, posting it on whatever you need to. Maybe it's Google Ads, doing the responding for you, as whether it's you being personal branded or your company, doing the responses so your comments don't go unanswered, making sure they're doing the analytics. So you're making sure that you're not wasting money and that you're getting a return on your investment. That's one way. What I do is I have two bookkeepers. I have one part-time, one full-time. One handles like the knee-deep balance sheets, ledgers, P&Ls, amortization, depreciation, all that. The other one's handling invoicing and bill pay. Then I have one that handles customer service. I own restaurants. They are handling the customer complaints, the customer service, the vaccinations, anything that I need to make sure that the wheels do not go off the bus for the restaurants. And then I have a catch-all VA who can catch anything that the others cannot catch, and handles a lot of different tasks, can work with a VA to learn a spreadsheet or an Airtable or whatever. It's really important, if you are still using very archaic systems, especially with AI coming up so strong, that you move into database management systems, or and a lot of these are free, that you move into these other systems, because it allows for automation and it allows for you to get out of the weeds. So that's really it in a nutshell. Before we go to questions, I want to make sure that I share with you all that if you would to sign up for our services or want to have a call with me to discuss your specific needs, and I do all the conversations with the potential clients, and I do all the final interviews, that we'll give you a free task audit to help you figure out what your tasks are that you should delegate first. Half of the time, that is it. There's a lot of times where I'm trying to book a meeting with one of our clients, and they're a prospect, more so a prospect, and say, hey, can you send me your calendar link, or can you send me some dates on your calendar? And they can't, because they can't manage their calendar, and this is why they need a VA. So a lot of times it's even harder to sit down and figure out what you need to delegate when you're not even sure what you need to delegate. So this task audit can definitely help you. So I would love for that to help you make most of your time. I've been where you're at. It's life-changing. And I want to have more people to understand that this is a very low economical hanging fruit for a lot of solopreneurs, small business owners, startups, people that are just starting out, or for people that are that are tired and just want to help. So I would like to turn it over for any questions or thoughts on this, or at the end we will put up we'll put up some contact information. We'll follow up with you if you want to do a one-on-one, off the webinar too. But any questions out there that you would like? It's hard to get into specifics when you're doing a webinar. So I would love to open it up for question and answering.